We're going to find out about many relatives of congressmen and congresswomen are going to end up passing away due to the coronavirus. As a matter of fact, my roommate's father's girlfriend, her father, her kids' grandchildren was suffering from the coronavirus, and that's why she and her kids had to stay over at her boyfriend's house, my roommate's dad's house, and it was a matter of it was this literally this close that he was to dying of the coronavirus. But he's okay right now. But this is real life. And already the death toll of the coronavirus is going to surpass all of the combined deaths of the Vietnam War. So don't let Trump tell you the alternative universe, because that's what Vladimir Putin wants. And his endgame is achieved if America is surrounded by dysfunction and just blatant mistruth. The older brother of Elizabeth Warren, Donald Reed Herring, died at the age of 86 on April the 23rd. What's interesting about this is that this is a potential blood sacrifice before the election. You hear about close family members. You even hear it at the draft. Multiple draft picks in the first round had a mother or father that ended up dying, and they ended up getting drafted in the first round. So these kind of sacrifices, I suspect, are probably out there. But I think it's not a coincidence that he died on the 113th day of the year, April the 23rd, because as you know, the election is going to be on November the 3rd, and that is a date of 11-3. April the 27th of 2020 gives us a April the 23rd, I should say, gives us a date numerology of 67. The two things come into mind in regards to 67. The coronavirus outbreak began at Wuhan. It's Wuhan. The epicenter of Europe was Italy. It's Italy that has Gematria of 67. Also, if this is a blood sacrifice before Warren's presidency, it's blood sacrifice that has Gematria of 67. So I am suspecting that is going to be the case as we hear about Joe Biden's health, and once we hear about the nomination of Warren on August the 20th of 2020. The amount of time from today's date to Warren's birthday is a time span of 60 days. 8 weeks and 4 days, that's like the Gematria of the United States of America. 1 month and 30 days, that's sort of like Washington, D.C. Washington has Gematria of 130. It's Dawn that has Gematria of 33, and what's interesting is that Elizabeth is a 33 life path. The Gematria of Dawn is 33. Elizabeth is from Massachusetts. That has Gematria of 33. And when we compute the date duration from the day of Warren's brother's death to the day that the Electoral College selects Elizabeth Warren, that is going to fall on the 34th week. And now that has to do with Warren. That has to do with November the 3rd of 2020, having Gematria of 34. 34 senators were needed to convict Donald Trump, to give that 67 vote majority that was needed. That did not happen. There needed to be a total of 34 senators. Get 67, 68, 69, 70, and then 30. That gives you 34 senators that were needed to convict Donald Trump. And totally that plays into Joe Biden. So there's that date duration. The amount of time from the death to the election, notice, falls on the 28th week. The last Democratic president elected, 2008, Gematria 28. Great Depression has Gematria of 208, forming a 28. Elizabeth and Warren, it's woman, that's the 23rd letter. That's also an interesting thing about the brother dying on the 23rd day. Woman's the 23rd letter. Wisconsin's the 23rd letter. Pretty much these are all Illuminati clues in case if you're asleep and under a rock thinking that Joe Biden's going to win the election, then that I suspect that is you right now, because deep, deep, deep asleep in your trance. The Women's March. Women decided the midterms. Seems like you're falling away from the script. Joe Biden says he's nominating a woman as his running mate. The amount of time from the brother's death to the beginning of the Democratic National Convention, which may be held virtually, is 117 days. As I've said before, the first female U.S. president, or the first female president, and that would be Senator Elizabeth Ann Warren, the only one with a plan in regards to this coronavirus. Donald Trump has no plan, and Joe Biden is sleeping in the basement. The end of the DNC, August the 20th, from April the 23rd, that is 119 days. Mr. Trump has gematria of 119. All CNI has gematria of 119 and 56. Master Plan, as a matter of fact, has gematria of 119. Notice the gematria of all CNI having gematria of 56. That was the date numerology that Donald Trump got elected. And it is the DNC that is going to decide this election. Warren can become the oldest president to win. It was the older brother that died at 86. That is another thing. Also, the Depression has gematria of 67. Today's date numerology of 67 can be noted that way too. Keep an eye out if this has to do with that. It may have something to do with it. It's brother that has gematria of 86. And notice how Don Herring died at the age of 86. Inauguration year 2021. Maybe this is the blood sacrifice for Warren. No doubt about it. Brother has gematria of 86. This is the significance of his death at 86 years of age. And he died on a 13-4 day. Donald Trump, 4-year president. Now, I realize that most kids who don't go to a factory or college, they join the Air Force right away. He joined the Air Force at 19. Women's suffrage was the 19th Amendment. It may have been pretty common for male high school graduates to join the military. Air Force, Vietnam. How Vietnam relates to this, the death count here is going to surpass Vietnam. The Air Force is 63. Progressive, 63. Senator Warren has gematria of 63. Multiple things tie into that. Vietnam has gematria of 30. It's Corona that has gematria of 30. And we're seeing the death count of the coronavirus eclipse Vietnam. But you have your fake news zombies listening to all these disinformation networks. They're completely thinking that this is the seasonal flu. The seasonal flu. Fake news has taken over society. Herring has gematria of 79. It's Warren that has the gematria of 79. It's Ukraine that has gematria of 79. How about 52? Depression gematria 52. That's M there. Coronation, the gematria of 52. So the gematria of Herring can be noted. He was taken to the Norman Regional Hospital because Warren was from Oklahoma. April the 15th adds up to 19. That may have been the day that Obama endorsed Warren's coronavirus plans. He died 6 days later. Elizabeth is a 33-6 life path, so numerology in the article completely relates to the field itself. All this stuff is not coincidence. Norman, Oklahoma has gematria of 61. It's 61 days from the time of the death to Elizabeth Warren's birthday. I think now I'm starting to see that's the significance of 61 is the place of death. Maybe President Obama, that equals 61. Amy Klobuchar had a family member that had the coronavirus. He survived. Elizabeth Warren's brother died of the coronavirus. My sympathies, my thoughts and wishes to everybody. Everyone's going to get affected by the coronavirus. He spent 20 years in the Air Force, 2020 election. He retired as Lieutenant Colonel in 1973. The gematria of Corona, the gematria of Crown, the gematria of EW initials. So I'm getting this because a real J. Stone mentioned this on the Twitter, so I felt that I should at least 6 members tested positive. That may relate to the light path. There's a whole breakdown, a death sacrifice before the election. Don Herring's birthday, or just a gematria Herring. I mean, his fucking name is Donald Herring, and he dies on the 23rd day. Well, Donald Trump himself noticed that Donald is 50 and 23, and that's the gematria of fraud. I mean, you know he's a big fraud. And now Donald Herring, or his middle name is Reed, maybe Reed initials. Nothing stands out in regards to these gematria values. Don Reed Herring has the same gematria as Mark of the Beast, 144. So I think that reference points this towards being a death sacrifice before the election. That's what I can safely conclude from this. Many more to come. And this one is going to have everything to do with the upcoming election. You think about Warren Harding, and the last name is so similar, Herring, and Warren Harding had the mistress, he had the daughter named Elizabeth. Warren won the 20 election in the 1900s. This is going to get so good after August. The election, you guys will be fucked by that time. Absolutely fucked. If Warren is the nominee, absolutely fucked. Because regardless, I already win. Because I predicted Trump to lose the presidency. But I'm gonna nail the nominee too when it's all said and done.